So, now we're gonna move on to another topic. This one involves Star Wars.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, I might as well just tell. I'm pretty sure everyone our age knows about this by now, but I still want to discuss it anyway. Disney, of all companies, bought Lucasfilm.
So now, not only does it own Star Wars, but it also owns Indiana Jones.
Yes, take that in consideration too for all the Indiana Jones fans out there. So, what are your thoughts on this, dude?
Um, well, it's an interesting accusation. I mean, Disney just gave George Lucas was it $4.3 billion?
4.4, I
Four
think.
point four billion dollars more. I mean, this guy, George Lucas is super rich now.
Yes, he is definitely super rich now, unless that money comes with taxes, but that's still pretty super rich anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
Go on. I'm sorry.
yeah, I mean, really, I mean, I don't care for the Star Wars prequels, but they made George Lucas a lot of money.
Um, so like now that now that Disney has bought Lucasfilm, um, they said they're gonna make episode 7, 8, and 9.
I'm a little skeptical about it. 'Cause I think the Star Wars series should just be where it is right now. I think because there's, I mean, what's there to continue? I mean, there's also the expanded universe that the fans love. Um, Spoiler alert, but I'm pretty sure you know what happens. But again, spoiler alert for those who have not seen Return of the Jedi. The Emperor is killed. Darth Vader dies, but he dies as a hero. And Luke is now officially a Jedi Knight, and Han Solo and Leia, well, looks like they're getting married. And of course, there are the Force ghosts. I mean, Darth Vader or Anakin Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Yoda are Force ghosts, and they're celebrating the destruction of the Empire with the was it Ewoks?
Yeah,
You
Ewoks,
remember those Ewoks?
the little stuffy teddy bears.
Yeah, they're cute, but they can get a little annoying. But at least they're not like Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, Ewoks are nothing compared to Jar Jar Binks. But I don't know though. When I first heard about that, it was kind of like, you gotta be kidding me. Tell me this is not happening. This can't be true. How is this happening? Then when I finally saw that it was happening, I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
I mean, I don't understand why this is happening. I mean, really, I mean, the Star Wars movies, they're masterpieces. And now I'm talking about the original trilogy. The prequels, there are a lot of things in those prequels. I used to like them a lot when I was younger, but now I look at it, there's a lot of stuff wrong with the prequels. Don't you agree?
In some respects, I do, and I think most of us can argue that or agree that the third movie was the best out of all the prequels.
Yeah, I agree. And well, I do say this: they did get there over time. The Phantom Menace being the worst out of the prequels.
I understand again what George Lucas was trying to do with Jar Jar Binks. I saw this thing about how he was basing it off mythology, and Jar Jar Binks was supposed to be some kind of comic relief character.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind comic reliefs, but
He just didn't do it right.
yeah, and I get some of the ideas for the prequels, but there's too much wooden acting. There are a lot of good actors. I mean, you got Natalie Portman, you got Samuel Jackson, you got Liam Neeson, Ewan McGregor. Who else? Oh, Christopher Lee. It's Count Dooku. You can't forget him. And well, another problem I had, especially with the Phantom Menace, the villain Darth Maul, which was a cool Sith Lord. Don't you agree? He was pretty.
He was probably one of my favorites of the prequels. He was probably one of my favorites.
I mean, really, he got little screen time. I think the real villain of that movie, Jar Jar Binks, got more.
Oh boy.
And oh yeah, the Phantom Menace didn't focus on Anakin. I mean, at least Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith did.
Just getting back to the point about the new episodes that are going to be made. Anyway, the point, how I feel about it is, at first, again, I was kind of surprised and shocked, and then I was kind of whatever. I mean, if they're gonna make it, they're gonna make it. So I mean, like, I was like, I mean, I wouldn't mind it actually to see those movies made. I mean, like, I just wanna like see how episode 7 turns out. And if it turns out to be not that great, then I don't have much hope or faith in the other movies to begin with. So I'm not gonna go see the other movies. But if episode 7 does turn out great, then hey, that's awesome. And I mean, like, the other thing is, the director is not gonna be George Lucas. The executive producer is not gonna be George Lucas. The only thing I heard George Lucas might be involved in is actually the creative, like the actual like writing the storyline.
I wonder who's gonna be directing this movie. Michael Bay.
That would be awesome. That would be actually awesome because
I don't know. He's not a good storyteller. All he does is make guns and explosions look cool.
But what I heard is that he's like George Lucas is going to be involved only in the storyline aspect. So Michael Bay is not going to be worrying about making a storyline. He's just directing.
Well, I mean, if there was one director, I would say Christopher Nolan. I mean, I think he'd be a good director for the Star Wars movies. I mean, I'd like to see his take on them. I also think maybe Joss Whedon, who did the Avengers.
Speaking of Avengers, Marvel was also bought by Disney. So yeah.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Marvel was bought by Disney.
So I mean, like, again, I'm just curious because like, I'm not really sure like what to expect still. I mean, like,
really, Emperor Palpatine, he died. Luke is now a Jedi. I mean, and plus the cast members are so old. I mean, Harrison Ford, he's too old to play Han Solo. And if there's going to be Indiana Jones 5, which I don't know if there will be, I seriously hope not. I mean, I feel like now that Disney owns Star Wars and Indiana Jones, they're probably going to be like, oh, let's continue the Indiana Jones series.
well, I mean, like, I always thought about this, but like, they might do some really like, they might put some like real like technology into it somehow and like make it look that looks younger somehow, or like they might just get a whole new set of characters or something like that.
With Brad Pitt and Benjamin Button, I guess. Make him look old.
That too, yeah. I mean, like, hey, whatever works,
I mean, really, I think this is just like, obviously I know they're trying to make money. I mean, I'll probably see the first Star Wars sequel to see how it goes, and if it's pretty bad, if it's worse than the prequels, then I'm just, you know what, I'm done with Star Wars. And
well, for me, Star Wars will always be with me because I've always grown up with Star Wars.
Oh yeah, same here. I mean, especially the original trilogy.
So, but like, yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying. Like, you wouldn't watch those movies. I know what you're saying there.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people were like, disappointed with the Phantom Menace. I mean, I remember when that movie came out. The Phantom Menace was one of the most hyped movies of all time, and a lot of people were waiting in line to see it the midnight showing, and a lot of people were disappointed.
Well, I mean,
and I hope it's not the same with this one.
Well, I mean, I have a suspicion that it's not going to be the same because it's not being directed by George Lucas.
But then again, George Lucas did direct prequels, and he also did do the original Star Wars, the very first one. The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, he didn't do those. He wrote the stories. He was producer, but he didn't write. He didn't direct them. I can't remember who directed those two. But it was not George Lucas.